This is Colin with Dakota Plains Ag Center in Beardsley, South Dakota with your market comments from May 24th. This video will yield 5 minutes of your time with market facts, planning update, and thoughts on the invisible cost of doing business on the farm. At Dakota Plains, we believe in equipping farmers to make confident decisions by offering personal attentions and building marketing plans. Market facts today. My market facts this week are very simple. Expect volatility and wide ranges in the corn and bean market. Things the market will be watching are weather, planting progress, crop conditions, the U.S. dollar, the June Fed interest rate meeting that the Federal Reserve will have, the spec money, long or short the funds, how much they're buying, how much they're selling, South American harvest progress, especially the Argentine soybean market and the soybean meal market has really been a driver here the last week. Target offers are a great way to capitalize on the volatility if you are in the market to sell. Planning is top of mind around here. Our grower customers really went after it last week and this weekend. It's proved to be a really challenging plant for us this year in our trade area. Nationally, U.S. corn is 86% planted as of Sunday night versus 85% of the 5-year average. USDA calls South Dakota 84% planted on corn. U.S. soybeans are 56% planted nationally versus the 52% average. The government calls South Dakota 56% planted on beans versus 47% average. There are growers that we're working with that are looking at some prevented plant situations in our area. PP dates for corn are May 31st and beans is June 10th. But you should talk to your crop insurance agent for exact details on those. When you acknowledge a crop peril situation, please reach out to us if you need to adjust your marketing plan, or if you're switching corn to beans, or any adjustments or any questions you have. Please reach out to Tyrone, Jordan, Dylan, or myself. We can answer your questions and walk you through any adjustments. So we're not going to talk much about grain marketing ideas this week like I typically do, just because the grower is really focused on planning right now. So I'm going to talk about some intangibles that I see in business around the farm. And so grain marketing is hard. It's hard because we can't physically touch or feel or see the tools of grain marketing. So you can't physically hold a put or a call or a futures contract. We tend to understand physical things that we can touch, feel, and control and see. And that gets a lot of our focus. So it's my belief farmers are really awesome at crop production because they can touch, feel, and see and their crop and all the processes. It's very physical, and grain marketing is harder because it's just we can't see it or touch it or feel it. So that's human nature to focus on things we can tangible, things that are tangible and physical. So that's just human nature. So every business has intangible or invisible costs. And they're real, but sometimes they can be overlooked. So one of them is depreciation. So depreciation is a cost you don't see because you don't write a check for it over time as the asset loses value. So there's 3 intangible costs I see on farm, and that is depreciation, the cost of carrying grain, and then freight costs. So the costs are real, but they affect your business over a long period of time, or the asset depreciates over a long period of time, so it's easy to overlook. So we don't feel and touch and see the costs as much as we do as other costs on the farm. So the most sophisticated and efficient farms that I've got the privilege to work with, they identify and account for their depreciation, their cost of carry, for their freight. They know what it costs them, and they make good business decisions around them. So I was just going to go through a depreciation scenario, how I look at it. I view it as a replacement cost. Now, when a farmer hears depreciation, he probably thinks tax write-off, which is probably true. And I'm not a CPA, so don't take my my advice here in words as gospel. I'm just trying to provoke some thought here. So, but I'm going to super simplify how I view depreciation. I don't run a farm, but I do run a household. There are big differences in those two enterprises, but I feel like my example can illustrate depreciation well. So we had our first child last fall, and we had to buy ourselves a kid hauler. I paid cash for the vehicle. Let's just say it's $15,000. Why did I pay cash? Well, when I was 22, I had a note on a big diesel truck, an really nice truck, and the motor blew up because of a mechanical thing the mechanic did. And I was on the line for a note at the bank for a pickup I couldn't drive. So that didn't make sense to me, and I didn't like that. So ever since, I've paid cash for every vehicle. So back to my example. Let's just say I paid $15,000 for the vehicle. When I got the vehicle home, I was like, shoot, in 5 years, I'm gonna have to replace this thing, you know. So let's just say in 5 years it's worth $0. That means I'm gonna have $3,000 of loss of value in the vehicle every year, or $3,000 of depreciation. So that means, so remember my goal of staying out of debt, because I don't want to get on, you know, have the bad situation happen again. So I'm gonna need to save $250 a month to keep up the loss of value on the vehicle. So depreciation became very real to me then. So because I'm gonna have to save $250 a month just to replace this vehicle in 5 years. So it became very real to me and helped me understand depreciation. It's replacement costs, or it's loss of value in the asset, and if I don't want to borrow money at the end of the asset's life, then I have to continually save. And that's how it works in a household. It's different on a farm, but that's a super simple way of explaining depreciation. So now if you finance your assets like a lot of people do on the farm, which is totally fine, it adds another layer of decision making, another layer of depreciation. But my example was just very simple. So when I hear the farmer say my truck doesn't cost me anything because it's paid for, or my bin doesn't cost me anything because it's paid for, I always think of my wife's grocery getter. So in the future, I hope to talk about cost of carry and freight, the invisible costs on the farm, and I hope everybody gets everything they can planted and everybody remains safe during this planting season. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.